When you think about retirement, do you feel trapped? If so, today we're going to talk about how to get out of the trap. So make sure you listen to the entire episode.
We hope you've been enjoying all the episodes from Secure Your Retirement. If you'd like to keep learning and receiving these episodes, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you receive alerts when they come out. We've helped thousands of listeners get on the path to securing their retirement. Now it's your turn. Let's dive in.
Welcome, everyone, to Secure Your Retirement Podcast. We're excited to be talking to you today about another topic around the idea of retirement. And what kind of prompted today's podcast is an article that we were reading in a personal finance section there on the website, on a website. And here was the context. It was breaking free from the one more year trap, knowing when it's time to retire. And I just want to give a little bit of context because we see this quite often, is that you think about it, for decades you work and you make an income and you save money and you have this thing in your mind that you're thinking, I'm going to retire next year. And it could be when I turn 60, when I turn 62, when I turn 65. Sometimes we see people pushing it and saying, I want to wait till I'm 70, or why should I ever retire? All of these are things that we hear people talk about. But a lot of this comes down to really just kind of having in the back of your mind, am I ready financially? Maybe am I ready emotionally? What's it going to be like? What am I going to do in retirement? And so what we wanted to do today is kind of talk you through some of this thinking and maybe why it is a trap. And so, Merce, if you could kind of get us started here about this idea of it being a trap.
Yeah, so the trap is this hesitation around retirement and feeling like we have to continue working for another year. I tell you, in all these financial planning strategy meetings that we do with our clients, some clients are retired, but a lot of clients are in that close to retirement phase of life, which could be, 5 years out, 2 years out, 1 year out. And we get to that 1 year out sometimes, and it keeps on being, let's do one more year, or I've updated to where I'm going to work another 6 months, another 6 months. And we'll ask the question, why? And a lot of times it comes back to, I just don't know. I don't know if I feel ready enough. And that can come financially, that could be emotionally, or I don't want to miss out on something that is coming in the future. A lot of times financially, that ends up being maybe a bonus that is coming in, say, the following quarter, right? My company only pays their bonus in March or April of the following year. So I got to work, and I can't retire in December, otherwise I'll miss out on that March or April bonus. So I need to work to March, April, and then you get to March, April, you get the bonus. And you're like, oh, well, what's another year? I'll wait till December, and then wait till December. You want that bonus again in March or April, right? So it becomes this trap of, when do I retire? If I'm leaving things on the table. Another big common one that we see again on the financial side is this thing called RSUs, restricted stock, that employers will give you, but it's not yours until it fully vests for you, and you have a different vesting schedule. And you may say, "Oh, I'm going to wait until this next chunk of stocks that I was given from the employer vest, so that I have more money available in my retirement plan." So those are a couple of the ones that I hear quite often around financially when it comes to the investment side. But I think there's a big piece around of, when you work and you save, you especially if you work for a company for a long time, you've got a lot of relationships there that you aren't potentially ready to leave. You got a lot of camaraderie. You've got your expertise, right? People know you as whatever you are in that role, your career, and you could be the go-to person, and you like that feeling of being the go-to person in your career. And so a lot of things end up being tied to your career. And I think, at some point you have to decide, does it make sense or not to just be working because of this, or should I think about what my life is going to be like after my career? Um, and which leads to another big reason, which is people don't know what they want to do when they retire. I think a big part of financial planning that we try to talk about prior to retirement is really thinking through what you want your retirement life to look like post retirement. So think about your goals, your hobbies, the goals and the hobbies and the travel and the dreams that you've really put off because of work. and you need to be thinking about those so that as soon as you do retire, you've got things to jump right into and tackle because you weren't able to do them while you were working. And bottom line, the bigger one is going to be all around finances. And do I feel comfortable with what I've done to prepare for retirement? When I say that, do I have a financial plan in place? Do I have investments that are going to support that financial plan and support the way that I want to spend in retirement? So, do I feel comfortable with all those things lining up? The decisions around Social Security, healthcare, how's that going to work? All those things, are they lining up to make me feel really, really good going into retirement, which stems back into what we call the retirement focused financial plan? So, the one more year trap, it is a trap. And the whole goal is let's not make it feel like a trap. Let's just make it feel like, hey, I'm ready to retire. And I think that's the big distinction. Um, so yeah, Braden, why, I guess from your experience, I know I kind of listed off a bunch here, but anything to add as far as why is it so hard for people to step away from work?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. I think the emotional side of things is difficult. It's emotional to think about this idea of starting to pull money out of accounts. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter whether I've got a little bit of money or I've done a really good job of saving money over a long period of time. I think that the reality is it's still emotional, and we've got to deal with that. And I think quickly, I think that just takes us into what is it that we can do to get us comfortable. And you mentioned it, and I think that the real thing is I need to see a plan. I need to see something that could help me be able to visualize that I'm going to be okay. And we talk about it all the time. We have developed what we call the peace of mind pathway. And the peace of mind pathway is really made up of three categories. And the first one is what we talk about, which is our peace of mind roadmap. And I think what I like about this idea of a roadmap and why we developed it this way is that it gives somebody an ability to see the path and to know that they can make it down. We liken it to a GPS. A GPS helps somebody know how to go somewhere, and it gives you confidence. I could say I'm headed to a place I've never been to before in my life. And I remember back when you actually had a paper map and you had to figure it out. And then you had a navigator in the other side of the car. And if you were by yourself, I mean, and it was dark, I mean, or you had a trip in an area where it was more rural, I mean, that was difficult. Today, we jump in our cars and we don't think about it whatsoever. We just type an address in and we just go with our GPS. So that's what we've done for our clients is we say, let's build out a roadmap. Let's build out a GPS as it is, saying, hey, I'm going to get in my retirement vehicle and I'm going to head toward retirement. Is it possible? And I think that's what we find is when we have that meeting and we show somebody their personalized retirement focused financial plan, I'm going to say the stress goes away 9 times out of 10 because people go, wow. And then I'll have people, they'll say to me, and you probably hear it too, Merce, is this real? I can't believe this. I knew I worked hard. I knew I saved money, but was it real for me to be able to accomplish this? And I think that that's what it does. So if you want to go into that a little bit more, as far as that idea of what we're looking at, what kind of things go into that focus?
Yeah. So when we're looking at and building out a retirement focused financial plan for families, we're looking at, hey, what are your goals for retirement? So where are you at in the stage of planning for it? Do you have a plan yet? Does it need adjustments? And a lot of times we are starting from scratch and saying, here's where you are. So your age, right? What's my desired goal for my retirement? And that could also be an age, but also what type of retirement are you looking for? And do I want to consult after retirement? Do I want to pick up a part-time job to stay busy after retirement? So what is that looking like for you? And as far as that transition into retirement, as far as timing and age, and what are you going to do? Um, and then we look at all the things or the knobs that would have to be turned in a well thought out financial plan around, well, if I'm going to retire at age X, how does Social Security fit into my plan? Am I taking it early? Am I taking it at full retirement age? Does it benefit me to wait till age 70, which is the latest you can take it? Um, how does that fit into my plan? And then making sure that we've accounted for potentially the spousal side of Social Security as well, and making sure those complement each other very well. How are we going to spend in retirement? That's a big conversation. We work and we kind of pay the bills without realizing oftentimes how much we truly are spending. But when you get to where you're drawing money out of the accounts that you've built up, you look at spending a different way. And so we want to understand what that spending is going to look like, not just the basics and keeping the lights on, but also the fun stuff that you're going to pick up in retirement that you may not have today, like desires to pick up a membership, a golf membership, or maybe a gym membership that you didn't have time for, or travel. That's a big one for our clients. So what's that added expense going to look like for you? And then that flows into conversations around Medicare. When's Medicare going to kick in? Am I retiring before that? Do I need to think about private insurance prior to Medicare? Long-term care, life insurance needs. It just continues to go on and on with this main goal of here's where I am today. Here's what I've done to prepare for retirement. Here's when I want to retire. Does this all play out? Does it look like it's going to be successful to where I'm age 90 and things have played out perfectly for me or very nicely for me from a cash flow perspective? I think once you answer, like you said, Raiden, once we answer that financial question, that big question of can I retire when I want to retire, the stress does start to melt away. And that opens the door for you to start thinking about other things that you may want to think through in retirement that's kind of going to get you there. Things like, you've got a lot of social connections in work, right? Maybe some of your best friends you've worked with for years and years, but that may transition a little bit away to, you want to think about your social connections outside of work and strengthening those a little bit. New routines, right? You've gotten up, you've gone to work, or you logged into your computer and you did that for years and years and years. What's your new routine going to be when you do retire? Some are going to do a phased retirement, so maybe cut back on time, or like I said, part-time or consulting. And I think, reassessing your goals as you enter into retirement is going to be a big piece to help you feel comfortable with that, again, that emotional aspect. So there's the financial aspect, build the plan, make sure the plan works, and then monitor the plan. That's what the pathway is. But then also the emotional aspect of you got to think about what you want your retirement to look like outside of finances so that you can make it more fun for you as you transition into this stage. So, but I think, Raiden, there's a big mindset shift that does happen for people that are working, earning, and saving to then having to now spend all that money. Let's talk a little bit about that mind shift that does happen.
Yeah, I think though, quite honestly, that it happens naturally as somebody goes through this, as they start thinking about it. Very few people come up and wake up one day and decide to retire tomorrow, unless you got laid off. But this idea of retirement takes some time. So what we recommend, ideally, is for you to start thinking about retirement probably in that area of 10 years prior, and then get really serious 5 years prior. And that's going to allow you to have time to start thinking it through. So, and the thing is, by the way, that can change. So many of our clients that are coming to us that are working with us today, let's say they're working with us and they're 58 or they're 60 and they've got 5 years and that's their goal. It's okay to get down to that next age and go, I've decided I'm going to work another year or two. It's okay to do that, but allow yourself to have the time you need. And then the other thing is something in the middle. Many of our clients say, I'm going to leave this job that I've been at for 25 or 30 years, or the type of work I've been doing for 25 or 30 years, and I'm going to consult, or I'm going to work part-time just so that I've got something to do to keep me busy. And I think that's a big time concern as well. So I think just giving yourself time, going ahead and building out your plan, and I'll just kind of walk you through what that looks like to get yourself started. So if you were going to work with someone like us, I'll just tell you our process. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to send you over a discovery profile. We call it the Peace of Mind Discovery Profile. And that's really going to let you write out your goals, where you are right now. We then take all that data and we put it over into our roadmap, or our your personalized retirement focused financial plan. And then that allows you to get that started. And we give it to you in a way that you're able to play with it, meaning you're able to say, what if I do wait another year? What if I go ahead and retire early? A lot of it, by the way, when you go through this process, I find a lot of people just knowing that they can retire makes work more pleasurable, because now they go, I am going to work for one reason, because I want to go to work. I am not going to work because I have to go to work. And that changes the focus, that changes the mentality massively when it comes to doing this. So I would say, if we were going to sum this episode up, it can feel like a trap. but that trap is usually because of lack of planning or a lack of clarity. So if you feel like you're trapped, you feel like you don't know what to do next, get a plan, get a focus, get it understood so that you can now not feel trapped, even if you decide to continue to work. And if you'd ever like to have a conversation with us about that, feel free to reach out to us. You can go to our website, which is pomwealth.net. You can go to the Contact Us page, fill that out. We'd be glad to hop on the phone or a Zoom or whatever in the office and have a conversation with you so that you can have that plan right in front of you. But I think that's all we got on this. We appreciate very much you listening. We hope you have a great week. We will talk to you again next Monday. We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Secure Your Retirement. If you would like to learn more, we have actually created an online course called 3 Keys to Secure Your Retirement. This video course helps you to think through all the different steps as you get ready to plan for and live throughout retirement. You can access this by going to our website, pomwealth.net. In addition, you can also subscribe below to our podcast called Secure Your Retirement.
For more retirement tips, check out these videos. Also, if you find them valuable, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a like.